Yeah, our brother, our dearest brother, if you hear us out there, and you see us, just know that our hearts go out to you.
Yeah. All right. So welcome to Krewe Talk, episode one. Let's start off by telling everybody how we met, like what we're doing with the point of this, what all this is about.
Man, honestly, I don't know. We just get started. Uh, how did we meet?
On my side of the story,
Niggas said my side of the story.
started VK, and basically we was looking for a singer. And my cousin Leon, him and this dude named Ace, they work on music together. We have been going to Ace's studio, and Leon hit me up. He was like, "Hey, bro, let's do the studio this week." And I was like, "All right." And he said, "Yeah, I got a singer coming in." I said, "For real?" And it had been months for us looking for a singer. And then my cousin Jasmine, she worked at Higgins.
Yeah.
So yeah, she worked at Higgins, and she called me and she was like, "Yeah, I met this guy. He's a singer. He works at my school. We're gonna bring him to the studio and see if you guys can like link up and work together." I was like, "Damn, people was really like looking up." So I thought we were just doing this by ourselves. but Leon, he's a cool dude. He always been helping me out. So we get to the studio. This big Alabama dudes in there. I'm like, "Wow, this nigga is super country."
Ah!
Whoa. I was like, how is this
Whoa.
gonna sound? We got in the booth, and shit was fire. That's my side how we met.
Yeah, something similar to that. I remember getting the SOS bat signal, and I remember I was told that it was a few young guys I need to come coach up. So I listened. And when I got to the studio and I laid eyes on them, I saw greatness in them, and I recognized right on spot. I said, you know what, there's work to be done, but we have something that we can build on. And when I saw that, I took them under my wing, and I decided I won't rest until their names are great.
Wow.
Yeah.
Side note, that's the first time I've ever heard the artist talking to the manager and the brand talk basically take them under their wing. Hey, but how whoever floats your boat, that's
I'm gonna make their names great. F me. I'm not worried about my name. We just want you to be great.
oh man, that's tough.
Yes, indeed.
But yeah, so R&B, that's R&B, hip hop, rap. It's like it's hot right now, and I just feel like that was like a good way for us to like get onto the scene of like entertainment and like making a name for ourselves.
But we don't do it because it's hot. We do it because it's who we are.
True.
It's
Don't
a
get me
part of
wrong.
our soul.
Don't get me wrong. Looks like our camera just died, but that's tough. first podcast, mess ups, but we'll go on. But yeah, it's not because it's hot. It's just the fact that like that is a hot thing. People are very receptive to it. It just happens to be that like that's also who we are, and like it all just goes together.
See, when your gifts expand
Right?
outward, equity comes in. You understand what I mean?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, equity comes in. And so, we'll hit you all with a lot of philosophical musings and, the way we see the world and what we think about different topics or whatever. I don't watch podcasts. I don't know how that's supposed to go. But hopefully you'll find some enjoyment in this one, the
Right.
VK special.
I watch a few podcasts here and there just because like I spend a lot of time driving and like you can't just like keep listening to the radio because all they do is just recycle music. But yeah, listening to the podcast, I feel like that's just like a good way for like the brand to connect with people outside of like whatever like they're consuming. If it's music, movies, TV, whatever it is, it gives you like a one-on-one like person to person interaction.
That's right.
So yeah,
I'm with it.
I watch podcasts like Impulsive with Jake Paul. It's not as thought provoking. It's just to see like this is a huge entertainer. See like what he's bringing. He has like a lot of guests and stuff that come on. Gary Vee. He's like
King Batch has a podcast now?
nah, he was on Impulsive with Jake Paul now. But Gary
Yeah, I
Vee's
can
another
know it. Is Drake better than the Beatles? With a real question mark. I could. Oh my god.
what would you say about that?
I just That's not even a real musical question. Like, is Drake better than the Beatles? Like, what are we recognizing better? Like, what's our measurement stick? Like, I like Drake far more than I like the Beatles, but I gotta respect the Beatles too. Like, that's a person who don't know music question.
It's also a clickbait question.
Yeah.
And I mean, dude has
clickbait. Okay.
a million subscribers and posts a video.
Bless his heart.
Yeah. That's part of our world, clickbait.
I want to be like him.
Don't we all?
Shout out Jake Paul.
Logan.
Shout out Logan Paul. I want to be like that guy.
He won't be on that show messing up his name.
I want to be like him. He's
One
great.
day. Yeah, but I watch people like Gary Vee. This dude's like an entrepreneur, like an angel investor. Like I'm not gonna say I learned a lot from him, but hearing like someone who's not an entertainer try and like talk to an audience is different. You know what I mean?
yeah, buddy. I'm with it. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, but two people
The angel investor sweeping down with his halo upon you. I love it. I love it. It's great. It's great. Oh, man.
Nah, but yeah. I don't consume too much podcasts, but these are the two things that kind of like, I was
You listen to Joe Rogan?
Not really.
He the man.
For real?
Joe, if you out there and you ever see this brother, I need you.
For real?
I want to be on your podcast. I want you on our podcast. Joe, you're amazing.
You see, I heard he had one, but I guess like it never popped up. It was never advertised. So I never like.
He's the most. If you ever want to look at anything philosophical, anything dealing with sociopolitics or anything along that lines, gender identity, anything along those lines, bro. I mean, he's the most nuanced and the most objective commentator I've yet to see. I mean, it's a gift. I mean, his ability to interpret data and speak it in a layman's way, top notch.
The way you described it, it seems better than the two I've been watching.
Yeah, you should definitely watch Joe.
Yeah, Impulsive is very
impulsive.
Yeah,
Impulsive.
I mean that's basically the whole point of the podcast.
Huh.
I heard Joe Budden had one.
Joe Budden's is nice. Joe Budden has a good podcast. I would definitely give shout out Joe Budden.
Yeah.
I would definitely give his podcast a listen. Talk a lot of music.
Right.
He's always up to date on what's going on in the music world.
Yeah.
It's lit.
I saw a clip or something. And it was him. It was at like a long table. It was him, Casanova, and some other people.
That was a little dinner thing he was doing. He got an actual podcast now. Or
Okay.
like he may have had it even back then. It's like with Rory, Maul. That's his guys.
Yeah.
You should look that up and see what they're here for. Yeah, man.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of the reason why I wanted to do a podcast. Just to like give us like another platform besides just like just releasing music or like doing Instagram posts, things like that. Just like because then we could like once we get to a certain level, we could have other guests come on and talk with us.
Definitely.
So I always get to like chop it up rather than like instead of always being behind closed doors, like letting people see.
And then the podcast is kind of your prop too, unofficial.
Yeah.
In a way, you can just kind of talk and just kind of chill and just really be great.
Yeah, more laid back than having like do an interview or like something outside of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's get it popping.
All right.
Jump right on in. And off the rip, I just got a question, bro. You been watching anything good lately?
Several things.
Awesome.
I've big fan of Netflix, and on Netflix I watched Grey's Anatomy. I just got into it. I'm super late.
Oh wow.
But yeah,
Grey's.
I want to go to med school. I mean, it's super cliche, but it's when you watch it, like you hear like about certain shows that's like really overhyped, like Scandal and tons of just different shows. But Grey's Anatomy, I can say like it's probably the only show I've watched that deserves much hype.
Yes, indeed. Keep it going, brother.
Nah, but it's weird because it's been on for like 15 seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, this dude. If you're listening to the audio version only, this dude Jeremy's a clown. He's imitating my hand gestures. So for the rest of the podcast, I will talk with my hands on my head. But yeah,
be great at all times.
It's so my sister's the one who told me about it, so I should watch it.
Yeah.
And it's 15 seasons in, and like she asked me like what was going on in the episodes I was watching, and like damn near none of the
everybody knows what Grey's Anatomy is. I promise you, the whole world knows.
I'm talking to you.
Oh, okay, I appreciate it.
Oh, I thought you wanted to know what it was.
You're a real one. That's why I rock with this dude.
I'm not telling the people.
Look how he love me. I love him.
Well, basically the whole point is that like the where she's at in the show, barely any of the cast was from the first show on.
Dang, that's wild.
Yeah, I think that's
lit.
That says a lot about a show that's been going on for a long time.
That's lit. What else? Anything else?
Anime. I started watching Fire Force.
Oh, what's that? I ain't never heard of.
Everyone knows what Fire Force is, Jeremy.
Oh.
I have to tell them.
Yeah, tell me. I want to know.
So basically, Fire Force it's set in Japan, and basically like there's like this phenomenon of spontaneous combustion that happens to people, and they become like fire monsters. But there are some people who have been born with whatever the gene is, and they can control the fire.
That's fine.
So the different generations have like more control of it.
That's lit.
And like the main character is a firefighter, and the firefighters who are the Fire Force are trying to solve what the.
We should watch that.
Yeah, that's why.
We should start watching that like right after this is over. We're watching Demon Slayer. I just got caught up.
I seen that all over social media.
So fire. It's amazing. Tanjiro! That's my boy. Yeah. Nuski. This podcast, dude. What else we discussing today? What's the main topics for today? What we got going on?
Just a little intro podcast. I don't think this is the trailer.
Worldwide conflagration. That's deep. How old is this?
It's new. It just started whatever the last cycle was for release of shows. So maybe like January, I think.
No. It's colder than Attack on Titan?
No. Oh well, it's only like 6 episodes. But I definitely like this one more earlier on than Attack on Titan.
Is this a preview or is this the actual?
First preview.
This
got good fight scenes.
Yo, that's fire.
I see what you did there. Fire.
You see me. You see me. I want to watch it, definitely. We gotta watch it.
You ever seen, you know how like sometimes like certain episodes that have better animations?
Mm-hmm.
Like every episode is built like that.
But the animation is better than each episode?
Yeah.
Because it's new.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That's crazy.
It's pretty good though. I don't know how many seasons or like how long it's supposed to be. But
How many episodes we got?
I want to say 6.
Mm-hmm.
6 sub and like 4 dub.
That's it?
Yeah. It's really good. I don't think it comes on every week though.
Word?
I don't think so. There's been like a couple weeks that I've checked a new episode hasn't come. But it's solid. I like it. I think you'd like it too. What shows you been watching besides Demon Slayer?
Demon Slayer really the only one. I just got caught back up on it. I'm about to get caught back up on Overlord now that I'm actually caught up on Demon Slayer. I had fell off on that last season.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna get caught back up on that. And that's about it. That's it. Other than that, just the rest of the grind of life.
I feel you on that. What music you been listening to lately?
Music wise,
I know people think all we do is music, but
yeah,
a lot of stuff we do listen to and enjoy.
I mean, I bumped that new Ross.
Mm-hmm.
Check that out. I just went through that new Jeezy.
Mm-hmm.
I checked that out. I have a review on both of those.
I listened to the Jeezy. Yeah.
Yeah, I also went through that a good portion of that Rhapsody. That might be the best one out of all of them.
For real?
That Rhapsody go hard. It's called Eve. Make sure y'all listen to that Eve by Rhapsody. Excellent album so far. It got about 7-8 songs left. But it's fire. It got a fire concept. Each song is named after a famous black woman who has, some significance or value to Rhapsody.
Mm-hmm.
It's her third studio album and she's really taken it, and I love what she's done with it so far. That little beat I was looking for the other day, that was off the first song. That was called Nina.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can play that. Nina would know. We can find that beat for the little EP thing.
She got a song with PJ Morgan.
Yeah, she got a few different cuts on there. She got a song with J. Cole and this stuff yet.
I see that.
Yeah, so each one is supposed to be it's a
You said like a black woman?
yeah, each song is named after a famous black woman. And she talented, bro. Like lyrically, she really spitting. I never want to really downplay other artists on our platform, but I've been very impressed with her lyrical ability.
Mm-hmm.
She really killing the game.
So you got Nina, Cleo, Aaliyah, Oprah, Whoopi,
Serena.
That's a hard
Concept.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like she doesn't strike me as I don't know too much about it, but she doesn't strike me as like a Billboard artist or like a big flash artist that like a lot of people know about.
It's interesting, bro. I mean, yeah, I think you might be kind of right. It's weird though, because I think rap is starting to take this interesting turn towards. It's almost like whenever you have an artist that's really, really rapping, it's like a lot of the social media carries them nowadays. You know what I'm saying? So even though like the Billboard and stuff may not be popping as much,
Mm-hmm.
the social media could actually make that song pop.
Exactly. You're right about
You know
that.
what I'm saying? So it's kind of getting to the point now. The line is not truly blurred, but it's becoming more and more blurred between, a radio hit versus an album cut. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's becoming more and more hard to decipher.
Yeah, I mean, most of my knowledge, like Billboard, I don't think they factor in. I know they factor in radio plays.
Yeah.
A lot more than they factor in a lot of other statistics and things. So like a lot of people who like pop on like streaming services or like have like platinum albums who don't hit the radio.
Yeah.
Their songs don't make it to Billboard. So
Yeah.
people like Lil Nas X,
Yeah.
his album didn't do anywhere near as good as Nicki Minaj's album did, but he's at the top of Billboard because it's a radio hit.
Yeah.
So I think it's interesting. Something people should like factor in when they talk about like who's winning and
Yeah.
things like that. But yeah, I like this. I gotta listen to this.
Oh, she wrong now. She wrong.
She's like a real like raw person.
That's her?
I think so.
I don't think that's her.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm about to say that ain't her right now. I was like,
This
hell
one.
no, that ain't her. Now there she go. Yeah.
A little podcast action.
Yeah, she out you. Yeah, she out you. Hold on, go up. Rhapsody Review, Eve. North Carolina art, a masterful tribute to black women is tender and compelling. Yeah, she out you.
I feel it. I think that's like I think that's real creative for her to think about empowering people like that. That's what her goal was.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So, that's the thing about these albums. See, like, then you'll listen to, like, G's album, and it really ain't having, so, like, G's album ain't really have no true concept to it.
Really?
Nah, I mean, but, G's album, they never really had a concept. G's, I mean, like, you go all the way back to Thug Motivation 101. Fire.
Mm-hmm.
Street classic. But it was just like a mixture of however many songs, it's a dozen plus songs that was just heat.
Right.
And so, like, a lot of albums used to be made like that back in the day. People still make albums like that now. It's just that nowadays what they do because of the streaming culture, instead of making like Thug Motivation 101 was like the whole album was fire.
Right.
Like I remember being in like 8th, 9th grade, you could run that joint from beginning to end. It was straight heat, especially where I'm from. Like that's all we knew with that Jeezy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That country shit.
Man, that hood shit. and fire, you know what I'm saying? But you know, Jay-Z, when he used to do his music, you know, and I mean Jay-Z's never had a concept album, I guess, outside of 444. You know, I guess that was semi-concept, semi-response to Lemonade. You know how I feel about those things.
Yeah.
We'll get into that one day. But that's like, you know what I'm saying?
Shout out Jay-Z if you want to come on the Krewe Talk.
Yeah, shout out Jay. You know, you're a legend. We appreciate you and all you've done. You know, shout out Beyonce. We appreciate you and all you've done. Legends, you know.
So I got a question. Everyone's answer will be different, but like as an artist, the music that you produce, do you think that's reflective of what you want to hear, or like what you like enjoy listening to is completely different from what you want?
It's interesting. I've heard a lot of artists say that they listen. I remember DJ Dahi, for example, producer. Shouts out DJ Dahi, bro. We love you. We love you. DJ Dahi is a master at work.
We got a lot of shout outs. It's a new podcast, so we could use the cloud.
Yeah, you're a beast. But DJ Dahi was I never forget him crafting that Money Trees beat. One of my favorite videos of all time. Where he take a second and he walks us through the crafting of the beat, and he actually sampled this alternative group song. I want to say Beach House, which is the name of the group if I remember correctly. Yeah, Behind the Beat, right there.
This one, 6 years ago.
Yep, I know, huh? And he sampled the beat. It was the Beach House beat. He took the beat and he reversed it, and that became like the like, you know what I'm saying. And it was so fire because when I was sitting there listening to it, watching, I was like, what in the world? And I remember him saying back there, he was like, he rarely listens to rap. He was saying like when he listens to a lot of times, a lot of alternative, a lot of, you know, folk rock, a lot of different things like that, and he'll, you know, when he's called upon time to do a rap beat, he'll utilize that bad. He'll go into that ear, that bad. Now, interestingly enough, bro, the funny part about it is I actually think that that's one of the reasons he never became as big as he could have become. Much as I love DJ Dahi, and I don't mean any negative, but I think that, you know, anytime you limit yourself or you say, okay, I don't really listen to this genre, I don't really do this, you're taking away a potential bad. Because I believe that if DJ Dahi could have figured out a way to capitalize on his unique sensibilities, his ability to see the music, I think he could see it.
Yeah.
So he could have capitalized on his ability to see it and still have that ear to the streets to hear what's hot at the time.
Yeah.
He could have potentially put himself in a position where he was making every beat. You know, at one point in time when Timbaland came out and Miss Elliott them came out, every beat they made sound like it was 20 years ahead of his time. You know, and it still sounded like it was of the era, which is, you know, how do you do that?
You think it's, I didn't see the movie, but you think it's that he didn't listen to hip hop, or like he just was more interested in other music and only hip hop people reached out to him to make their beats?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
You know, maybe we have to have more than one day and answer. You know, more than, I mean, I'm not gonna assume on how he rolled, but you know, that video was also 6 years ago, so you know, telling where he is now, in you know, mindset wise, or what he's doing now.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but I do believe, you know, and I say this, you know, with art in general, me going back to me, the music I make, I try to make music that I want to hear.
Right.
That's what I try to do, and I love music, but I also realize, and this has discouraged me at times in music, and also kind of encouraged me in a weird way here lately. But like I've just realized that like the music game comes in eras.
Definitely does.
And it comes in waves, seasons, and so at the time the Money Trees came out, there was a open path for creativity amongst the artists, creativity amongst the producers. You can go listen to that Good Kid, Mad City album right now, and it still sounds fresh. Everything on it still sounds. It doesn't sound 6 years old.
Some things, some projects age better than others.
Yeah, and that one sounds fresh.
Yeah.
If you go listen, and it's interesting though, because you can even go listen to like Young Rich Niggas from Migos. That still go.
Right.
Fight Night. But I know she'll free.
I think it says a lot about
that still go.
Like when people's earlier hits still hit as hard.
Yeah.
I think it's more the fact that like when you heard like for Migos, like, for example, that song was their earlier hit, and that was like when they first hit the scene, so it was new. And like the novelty things stay fresh to people.
Yeah, well, that, but also it's like a certain quality I almost feel like. Because like whenever you hear that Fight Night, it's like it's just an infectious beat.
Yeah.
And then like lyrically, it was definitely. That's one thing I've always liked about the Migos, especially earlier on. I always felt like one of their strengths was their ability to lyrically go a step further than what you expected from. You know what I'm saying? So like you'd be listening to it and like you'd expect. I see the same thing with Kodak. I see the same thing with a lot of these, I guess younger or like newer acts who people would consider at one point in time maybe to be mumble rap. But it's interesting because like that was one of their calling cards, their ability, which is the whole reason why each of them kind of got a solo career. It's like you hear them on track and be like, oh, okay, that's bars right there. You know what I'm saying? Like when you listen to Migos, when you listen to Kodak, when he first came out and stuff, you're like, oh, hold on, those bars.
So you think it's like the surprise factors from people who have been like put inside a specific category?
I think it's the talent. I think that each of those, those two specifically, Kodak and Migos, I think Migos, each of those guys was legitimately talented, and I think that Kodak himself was legitimately talented. So I think that when you add it up, you end up, that talent always gonna speak.
Very true.
I always say that. But I think what you end up seeing as time goes by, unfortunately, there's so much of a oversaturation nowadays with the music that I think you almost start to run into like what Wayne ran into. Like, if you lucky, you may have in your whole rap career, you may, and this ain't nothing I thought of before now, but in your whole rap career, if you lucky, you may have like 1,000 just out of here bars. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if you're real lucky, you may have 500 just verses. But you ain't got too many more than that until stuff becomes repetitive to some degree. Right? Unless you're going to start talking about gardening, you're going to start talking about,
Because the subject matter has a limit.
Yeah.
And most nowadays, everyone's rapping about the same thing.
And I think that's when ends up hurting it because, like I said, when Migos first came out, like even if you go through like that She Don't Want to Be a Freak No More song, like you could play that joint actually right now. Like if you listen to it, bro, it's almost like a storyline. Like they painted a picture for you the whole time. Like it's very vivid. It's very like it's touching all of the senses of entertainment. Making you see what they see. Drawing you in, got metaphors, got good imagery, and it was well crafted.
So, I guess like if everyone's rapping about just like rapping and singing whatever about the same thing, and it's like oversaturation, what do you see yourself doing differently to like stay true to your artistry?
I think that's one of the biggest. I think that's actually one of the biggest challenges because it's like. You don't want to stray too far from the subject matter, but at the same time, you got to talk about it. It's almost why Drake has been so successful. And even with Drake's success, You talking about thousands, and I mean, when before Scorpion dropped last year, shoot, they had like a 2 hour mix on Apple Music with just Drake songs.
Yeah,
for 2 hours. It was just straight Drake songs. That was it. And it was hitting the whole way. Like people were narrating on social media.
Way.
Like people were narrating on Twitter. They was like, "Yo, I forgot about this one. I forgot about this one." Like, oh, damn, this shit hitting. Like it was hitting the whole way until Scorpion dropped. But that can only happen when, for one, you have two personas.
Mm-hmm.
Drake got a rap persona. Drake also has an R&B persona. So he has almost two characters. So he can split music between two different people almost,
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, having those two personas, you come back and Drake's one of his greatest gifts is his ability to see.
Mm-hmm.
He can see the human condition better than most. So like his ability to see the human condition, kind of like with that little shout out Drake, of course, Drizzy Drake, if you're listening, you know what I'm saying.
OVO by VK.
Hey, bro,
it's coming.
Let's
it's coming
do it.
Very soon.
It's very, very soon. It's on in this pocket for
yes,
sure.
Sir.
That boy Drake on that Gold Roses with him and Ross. Shout out Ross.
Yeah.
Maybach music,
I like this.
That boy Drake said she got a thing for Chanel Vintage to drop before she could speak English.
Like that's going over a lot of people's heads.
It did because he could have easily just said she was a foreign chick.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's so many layers there, but he just dropped it like it was nothing. It was like that's an exquisitely crafted bar.
Yeah.
That he just put inside the song and just let it ride. She got a thing for Chanel Vintage. So we know she's high class.
Mm-hmm.
We know that she a little sedative. People still use that term.
Mm-hmm.
She got a thing for Chanel Vintage that dropped. So obviously we talking about she probably a younger chick, 23, 24, 22, before she could speak English. English not her first language. I mean, it's simple, you know what I'm saying, in a way, but it's like when you talking about rapping and you talking about craft, putting in the most amount of description and imagery per line, it's not many people who can do it better than him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the reasons he's been able to flourish and why he can have a 2-hour mix. Just like that Care Package.
Mm-hmm.
The Care Package just dropped, it went #1.
And it was recycled songs.
All recycled songs, bro. And the crazy part about it, social media, has given Drake his fair share of lumps.
Mm-hmm.
But it's crazy because like everything in the Care Package, I saw so many people on social media who, if that had dropped 2-3 years ago, they probably would have tried to roast it and try to flame it up. They was on that talk and said, "Damn, this hit different than when it dropped 4 years ago."
I remember you said that.
So one dude tweeted, he was like, "Damn, bro, that life will do something to you. Like when you live through something. So now you feeling what 26-year-old Drake was feeling back then. You know what I'm saying?"
I wish I could have been in the room when they were like, "Okay, we're gonna put this song first, then this song," because like the sequence that they put the song in, obviously they weren't all talking about the same thing, but like
it's almost perfect, bro.
It's like they was made to follow each other.
It's not me, it's you. Emotion.
Yo,
and I don't even like that song, but I started liking it.
I love that song.
I don't even like that song, but I started liking it. So like that's what I'm saying. Like I guess I'm just emotion.
Yo, another song on Care Package that hit to me, the Calabasas song.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I felt like it was sleeping on that.
Don't. Now, see the problem with that song, it came out right around the time, like it came out like a month or two after the whole thing went down with him and Meek back in if I remember correctly.
Nah, it was older than that.
4 p.m. in Calabasas?
I'm pretty sure it's older than that, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see.
And it actually might have came out in 2016. But whenever it dropped, it was still it dropped right around after the Button. Him and Button, when Button was Joe Budden was dropping the disses to him. You remember that? See, 2016. June 4th, 2016. Yeah, so it dropped after Joe Budden had made disses, but that was like a year.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Joe Budden thinks Drake dissed him.
Yeah. I remember when Joe Budden broke that down, bro. That's when I started really respecting Joe. Because the way he broke that down right there, like the way he was explaining it, and like you could tell his respect. Because see, my thing about Drake, bro, like I almost feel like Drake to me is kind of like LeBron. Like say if you really call yourself a basketball player, but you got the nerve to try to discredit LeBron's greatness, it's like, bro, how much do you really truly know about basketball? Like, it's okay to say you don't like.
I know where you're going with that. We gotta say that one for another time.
I'm just saying
that's a whole podcast right there.
Bro, I'm just saying, like, it's okay to say you don't like something because you don't like them. But, like, to try to discredit.
There's a difference between having an opinion and, like, just being completely biased.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? I say the same thing with your boy Drake. Like, Joe Budden, he considered himself to be dissed in that moment. And he was explaining how Drake dissed him while also explaining why the line was so fire. And I remember listening.
He was unbiased. He was appreciating
the artistry.
art for
and I
what it
rock
was.
with it, son. Because Drake floated on that 4 p.m. in Calabasas.
Yeah.
Bad.
Dude.
Bad.
Done.
All your self-promoters are janky.
Yeah.
We established like the Yankees, the whole fucking game thinkers.
When the very first time I heard it on YouTube, not sure how it came up, but I heard it. The first done that I replayed it. Right, I didn't even hear him. I was like, I gotta feel this again.
Yeah, dog. Like
who produced this?
I think Vinyls and I want to say Vinyls and what's your we got name? Shout out Vinyls. Who was it?
Vinyls, Frank Dukes, and Alan Ritter.
Frank Dukes, yes indeed. Shout out Alan Ritter. Shout out Frank Dukes.
Oh man, that's hard. And they got the Calabasas like little
local
sign.
Yeah, that's fine.
They did that.
But the bars he dropped in there, like he really was like airing out the whole game. You know what I'm saying, in a lot of different ways. Even with the illusion of like the high ups trying to come and get him.
Yeah.
And then the ha like who did the ha, you know.
Yeah.
So like, you know what I'm saying, like it just, and that same person would definitely be higher up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, shout out Diddy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, it's fire. So it was a fire rap song, bro. And going back and listening to that Care Package, I bumped that joint straight for like 2-3 weeks. I'm like, I done heard all these songs before. But to have them right here on my Apple Music where I could just like listen to them. And then one of my personal favorites is that I had to revisit and remember how fire it was. Days in the East. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, you just so far every song you name is just like I get like a little nostalgic blast.
Every time you like, just hit. You know what I'm saying?
So is it safe to say that like the way to keep your sound fresh and to keep you from like falling to the trap of like rapping and talking what everyone else is talking about, like you kind of like trying to take like a page out of Drake's notes, like how
got to, bro, man. If you're not trying to take it, I mean, no, and people might get on me for saying this. I don't care what nobody say. Everything that you hear in the rap game right now is partially influenced by Drake. I don't care what nobody say. Drake was influenced by Wayne. Drake was influenced by Fonte and Lil Brother.
Yeah.
Drake was influenced by, you know what I'm saying, different people. But, you know, that's just like I mean, so much of what you hear is influenced by Wayne, rapping wise. Like almost everybody raps to this day trying to use metaphors and similes and everything like that.
I mean, you'd be completely lying to say that the average artist right now wasn't inspired by somebody who's like a great.
Exactly. And so, you know, a lot of these guys have been inspired by Drake to some degree, especially with the melodic rapping and the singing. I mean, you know, of course, we know Ja Rule. Shouts out Ja Rule. You know, I mean, even 50 Cent has some melody in his raps. You know what I'm saying? But you talking about mainstream? I remember when the boy Drake first came out, they didn't think he was marketable.
Bro, I remember when Best I Ever Had hit the radio. I was listening to it with my cousin, and he was like, "This dude rapping," and he was like, "Who is this other dude singing on the track?"
Yeah, that had the same thing happen.
Dude, it's the same person.
I forgot about that.
Bro,
that's crazy. I forgot about that because that's true.
There could have been somebody before. I don't know. I'm not gonna say I know everybody, but when he did that, I was like, "There's no one else doing this right now. I've never seen someone
not to that level
sound like he's the feature and the main artist. Like,
yeah,
that's impressive.
Yeah,
But I feel that. But
Yeah.
he's I mean, there's a lot of people that I look up to regarding like music, just anything.
And see, and that's the reason I compare him to LeBron, because see, the thing about Drake is almost at this stage, it's almost like taboo. Like if you give Drake too much praise, and I think it's starting to like go against that again. Like, I think it's starting to become more like normal again to give Drake proper respect. But it's almost like if you give him too much respect, people want to act like you meat riding or some shit like that.
There was a huge like pushback. Like it was like all Drake fans. Like I saw a meme one time, and it was like the dude was like on his computer, and like it was an alert. It was like Drake album, and it was like Drake fans are like passing out and they haven't even heard it yet. And people were like, yeah, that's just ridiculous. But I mean, I have yet to listen to a project that didn't make me like, damn, okay, this is the top one.
Yeah, I mean, even views. It's funny, bro, because like, I just be on social media a lot, and like I rarely tweet, but you know what I'm saying, I listen, and I, you know what I'm saying, I retweet stuff, I follow stuff, you know, I see you stuff all the time.
Yeah.
But like I've even heard people go back and forth now and be like, damn, you know, views actually were kind of hitting. You know what I'm saying? It's interesting because views might have been my least favorite Drake project, but it's so wild that a project that you could say was your least favorite project has such a high level replay value and such a high level, like, did it age so well.
Most of the people who I hear things like that from had like were like haters. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
like,
unfortunate too,
yeah.
because it's hard to get a hater to admit that they're a hater, to see themselves.
Right.
But like, I mean, like, this is not a Drake podcast, of course, but you know, when you talk about the influence of music, you have to give credit where credit is due. And I mean, I don't know another artist that's been able to be able to. The other thing I will say that Drake did that I recognize is the only way to do it, the thing that really prolonged his career, and this is the thing that kind of got him in trouble with the Meek Mill situation. What he recognized early on was that I can't give y'all all my best bars every time I spit something.
Yeah.
He adapted to the game, and he recognized that the way the game works, you know what I'm saying, the game is not going to allow you to take a year and a half, 2 years off the way Jay-Z and them used to do.
I mean, that I feel like you can apply that. I know you said this is not a Drake podcast, but I just feel like talking about somebody who's that successful, like there's like a lot to talk about.
Yeah, definitely.
And I just feel like using like there's no like career or like activity that you can do to where like playing your best hand is like the thing to do every time you step into the floor.
Yeah.
Because like that sets you up for like a burnout.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
A shorter
and I
career.
think that's what messed with. I think that happened to Wayne. I think that's exactly what happened to Wayne, which was exactly what I was going to. Like, I think it kind of started here with the Migos a little bit, unfortunately, because I think they are talented lyricists.
Yeah.
But it's like they work best as a unit, each getting a line or so.
Yeah.
You know, getting a verse or so. And being able to operate like that allowed them to prolong their bars. Because even though their bars are witty, even though their bars are inventive, I'm not sure how deep the bag goes. Because the subject matter stops at a certain point.
Right.
And that's, you know, that's not a knock on them. That's just life experience or however you want to, you know, say that. Now, when you get back to Drake and you're looking at the situation where, like, you know, his utilization of influences, you know, Quentin Miller was an influence.
Right.
I listened to those reference tracks. I remember those. I listened to those reference tracks. I listened to everything that they was trying to expose at the time. And when I listened to all the reference tracks that dropped. Like, none of those reference tracks was, you know, Drake didn't rap any of those bar for bar. Most of them, some of them he didn't even really use any of the words, barely used any of the phrases. Like, but I know a few of them he used like a couple lines from the reference track, but all of it was still the vast majority of the verse was authentic. You know what I'm saying? But what I always said whenever I talk music with people, I always say the biggest thing that Drake got from that whole exchange was he got a style injection. And that style and realizing how to rap something that sounded good, something that was still witty, but something that didn't come from his heart and soul every time, I think that gave him a new lease.
Yeah, I mean, every person who has a craft hits a point to where like, okay, I need to elevate to the next level. Whether that's like getting a mentor and learning what they did,
Yeah.
or collabing with someone else and like, okay, yeah, I like how you do that. I mean,
Yeah.
art is not like a singular thing to where like, okay, my way is the only way. And,
Yeah.
you know
And
what I'm saying?
I only say that because just as much as I praise, just as much as I praise it about, I have to speak the full truth. And so, like, you know, so I always, when I look at Drake in that situation, like I always say, at the end of the day, you know, I'm not giving him a quote unquote pass, but it's like I also see it differently than what people who try to discredit him see it. I don't see it as him because I mean, like I said, you listen to Quentin Miller bars, and you listen to Drake. Who you like? Drake career. I mean, shit, even if you go to '07, comeback season,
Yeah.
like Drake been rapping the same style forever. So like, and if you listen to '07 comeback season versus Quentin Miller best work, like, are you really choosing Quentin Miller best work over comeback season?
I wouldn't say it's not giving a pass. It's like a level of understanding.
But that's what I'm kind of getting to.
Yeah.
So like, I say that to say that lyrically, never heard anything from Quentin Miller that would make me feel like he was a better rapper than what I assumed Drake to be all the way from 2007.
Right.
Never heard. Not Quentin Miller is an excellent rapper. Don't get it twisted. But I also think that Drake is.
There's levels.
There's levels to it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I mean, I've never heard anything from Quentin Miller where I would be like, ooh, he wrote. You know what I'm saying? 5 a.m. in Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
Never heard nothing from Quentin Miller that would make me think that he had a hand in writing 5 a.m. in Toronto.
Right.
In Toronto, you know what I'm saying? Like,
that makes sense.
You know what I'm saying? And so I said it to say though, I do believe that what Quentin offered him was that stylistic influence, and I think that he did help Drake in that regard and show him like, yo, okay, I can rap and switch up my style and not have to, you know, everything doesn't have to be heartfelt and everything doesn't have to come directly from my soul because that will burn you out.
You're right. I feel that.
Yeah.
So like, I know a lot of people. It's always like everyone has like a dream. They have like a path to get to their dream. Yeah. And 9 times out of 10, like what you start off doing is not really what your end goal is.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of rappers like starting to not always just rappers, but like athletes, rappers, whatever else you may have, use whatever their talent is to get to a level to where like they can expand and do something that they didn't probably think was as profitable or like they could be as successful in. Is there anything that you're interested in outside of music that like you feel like once you get to like a comfortable status, that's probably what you're gonna like spend your time doing?
Not really.
No, not so much.
I'm kind of invested in this music, and I mean writing. You know, I love to write in general. So I mean, I'm working on some other creative writing projects, but writing is what I hope I end up 20 years from now when I'm just chilling and kind of minding my business, maybe some acting.
Okay.
And writing, but
writing as in like music
scripts,
writing or like
music,
anything.
I got novels I'm working on, but like anything creatively when it comes to writing, that's my passion.
I feel that. I definitely feel that. I'm definitely like, besides like the stuff I have going on, like going to grad school and music is definitely like something that I'm really passionate about, and like my goal for it, I just want to be to a place to where like I can meet more artists, and just because I really enjoy the process of like seeing like what makes people tick and like what their like creative process is, like just like the personal aspect that the fans don't usually get to see. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a level of personality and like an experience that you get from working on people build their craft. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
And I feel like that's probably what like trainers get, like training athletes. You get to see like the development, like how they get to the finished product. That's kind of why like I enjoy music and like where I see myself going besides just like managing talent and like making beats and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel that. Let's see what's the This is good vibes. I'm digging this.
Yeah, it's heat.
Yeah,
for sure.
So yeah, I had like, so we talked about Drake and like his like he's like transcended just being like the average artist. Do you think that like, you mentioned Rick Ross earlier? listen to this project, do you think that like there's like a new culture of like the artists who have like already established themselves, like branching out into different things that they might not be as successful in? Whether it be like you see Jay-Z, he's like trying to be like a activist, philanthropist, or whatever, but he's like doing things outside of hip hop. Do you see like that becoming more of a trend?
Yeah, I mean, I think you saw Meek Mill actually just got his own. He just signed with Rock Nation, and I think that he actually just got his own ex- um, some type of deal he was able to just complete. And
Mm-hmm.
I saw some rappers doing some stuff with some production companies and whatnot. Yeah, man, I think the guys are starting to realize what you're starting to see now. Excuse me, is a recognition of what capitalism actually is.
Yeah.
And we'll probably talk about that on a podcast to come. But these guys are starting to realize, like, yo, I have enough money to at least turn the wheel of capitalism a few times.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I might not have enough to step outside of the realms of capitalism. Like, you probably need 10 to 12 billion to do that, but
Right.
they're starting to recognize that there's more money to be made than just trying to have to clamor together a 12 song album. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and pay production fees and studio costs and all that. That there's more money we can get out here with, even like with how, the touring has become like most artists' breadwinners. So you have artists like Chris Brown and Drake and guys like that. They'll go on tour now for, 2.5, 3 months. Beyonce, when she went on tour last time, like these people making, these artists going on tour. I remember like Taylor Swift went on tour last time. She made like $200 million, like straight cash. You know what I'm saying? Like for like straight money,
Yeah.
profit almost. You know what I'm saying? Like these people are making like I think it was 200,000. Like, that may be false, but it's like an exorbitant amount of money
Mm-hmm.
that they're making. Um, just simply by going on tour, you sell out a few venues, you know, sell the tickets the right prices, there's no producers that have to get cut in on the cost, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
so like it's just little stuff like that. Like, I remember one point in time, Tiger was doing a whole lot of touring because of that reason, and be able to recognize that and put your money in places where it's gonna make you more money. Ross.
You getting tired, buddy?
Ross been doing Wingstop for 1,000 years. You know what I'm saying?
The wingman.
Yeah, the leading guy. So stuff like that.
I feel that. I mean, it makes sense. Like you can't just stick in the same lane.
Yeah, man. And as entertainers begin to recognize more and more of their power,
Mm-hmm.
I read somewhere the other day that Robert Downey Jr. for he signed, like, I think he made 8%. That was part of his like last like movie deal or whatever. He made 8% of Endgame's total box office,
That's a lot for one person, dude.
which ended up being like a little over 200 million. So now they had to pay them 45 million. You know what I'm saying?
That's a lot for one person. Do you know how many people like have a hand in making a movie?
Mm-hmm. I mean,
That's
and we can have research and always, well, we can always fact check the stuff we say, because I'm just speaking kind of, candidly, but I kind of believe that's what I heard, was that he had made, let's check that real quick, that he made like 8% of from the end game.
dude, it was higher than what you said. I don't know what percent this is, but they said he earned 75 million.
Okay, let's see.
Oh, that's a lot of money, dude.
Hold on. From end game alone,
Mm.
um,
Get a 1%
8%.
deal.
8% back end deal that it does from the start of salary. Yeah, it's made 700 million. Yeah. So it made $700 million in profit in game because it made 2.6. This is back in July. In game made 2.6 billion at the box office, which gave it after corporate for all of the costs of the movie and paying the actors and everything. It made a $700 million profit, which is huge for a movie. And they took that $700 million.
This is strictly from tickets, though.
Yeah, strictly from ticket sales. $700 million profit in ticket sales that Robert Downey Jr. had an 8% stake in, which paid him 75. Well, a grand total of $75 million because he had $20 million for just a base salary, $55 million from the 8% kickback, and so that's what I'm saying. Like, recognizing that you can do deals like that. Mm-hmm. Recognizing that you're
worth
the one who's making, who people's coming to see. Like, that's what the guys in the NBA are starting to recognize.
Shit, the running backs in the NFL.
They starting to, I haven't heard much about that. But
what's his name? Ezekiel Elliott is holding out. Le'Veon Bell held out.
Yeah.
Melvin Gordon is holding out right now.
Yeah.
I mean, they have the shortest career span. Yeah. And I mean, they sustain like probably the most severe injuries.
And so like
makes sense.
Exactly. And so like these entertainers are starting to recognize their value, specifically these black entertainers who have, historically, unfortunately, been taken advantage of. So I mean you got and that's not unfair to say. Because, shoot, when the NFL first started accepting black players, Jim Crow was still going along. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Civil Rights Act had not even been mandated and instituted just yet. Mm-hmm. You're talking about the early 60s.
So it's only right that people are finally realizing their worth.
Exactly.
And capitalizing. I feel
yeah, that's the key.
All right, well, seems like we're coming to the end of this, and I want to end it with this little segment. So this segment is going to be 3 random facts. Doesn't have to do with anything that we talked about. Just 3 things I saw over the past week. 1, we successfully completed teleportation, and that's just not in mainstream media.
I told you that. Yeah.
I remember you told me that, and I looked it up, and it's very true. It's on a minute scale, but
But the fact that you can do it at all. Talk to me about that, so real quick. I know we gotta go, but shoot.
So basically, I guess. Real dumb.
When I first told you that, how did you feel when I first told you that?
I was like, I believed you. I definitely believed you, but I was just at what scale and why isn't this a mainstream thing I'm saying on the news?
It's crazy, bro.
But basically, a dumbed down version is that they were shooting photons, which are light particles, up to a satellite that was orbiting in space, and basically, if you were to shine a flashlight into space and you were up above, you would not be able to see the flashlight just because the photons can't go that far. But the satellite picked up the photons, which means that somehow whatever they were doing to teleport it successfully worked. Because there's no way that whatever light they were shooting could have gone that many miles in distance.
Because it was 300 plus miles away.
That's crazy.
That's the furthest one they've been able to complete.
Yeah. It's just funny how things like that aren't televised and aren't talk. I mean, it's just shooting light, but that's just a small key that they stuck into the door. That so much more stuff is to come from that small experiment, I guess. Mm-hmm. Second one that I had is that a 16-year-old kid. I don't know the exact number, but I'm just gonna estimate round it to what I saw. Won $3 million winning a game of Fortnite.
Yes, I saw that.
Bruh, that's crazy. The gaming community is on the ultimate rise right now.
Yep, that's why I'm about to become a professional Smash player.
I'm finna
mark it down. I'm not lying.
Oh man,
I'm coming. MKLeo, Sam Sora.
That's the guys.
I'm coming for y'all. Nairo.
I've seen him.
I'm coming for you, baby.
I seen him. He wears glasses, right?
Yeah, that's my boy.
He played. I watched RDC World, and they did a Smash tournament against him, and they won probably 1 out of 50 games.
Yeah.
The nigga was just
demolishing them,
pounding. Yeah.
Cold. Raw.
And last fact, big Marvel fan, but they took a huge hit. Sony has taken the rights to Spider-Man away, and Spider-Man will no longer be part of the
Well,
Marvel universe.
Sony says they hope that they'll be able to rectify it, and there's a lot of people who think that it'll be able to get worked out.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, I was looking into it a little bit more. They just gotta. I just think what it is that Disney just gotta essentially. They don't really have any real leverage. That's Disney's biggest issue. Like at the end of the day, Spider-Man's gonna sell.
True.
Regardless, like I mean, he might not sell as much as he did with Marvel, but like, even if let's say, see, this is the thing people gotta understand. Even if he sells $100 million less,
that's still a profit.
That's still a profit. That's still more profit than giving Disney 50-50.
Yeah, I personally, I think the whole MCU is Disney's leverage because, like, I know personally, if they release another Spider-Man movie with the Green Goblin produced by Sony, I'm not going to see that.
Yeah.
Because like the whole Sony Spider-Man, like how they kept like what's the word like redoing it. How they had Tobey Maguire. Yeah, the reboot. It kind of got like I didn't see any of the ones with the guy before. Yeah, that's the dude. Yeah, I didn't watch any of those.
I only seen the second one, and I wasn't very impressed. They said the first one was fire though.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like you said, the leverage. I think the leverage is what they can do with the MCU because like, I definitely want to see Spider-Man and Venom.
Yeah, that'd be lit. But the only problem, I mean, I think Disney would have to either just outright buy it from Sony, or like they're gonna have to come up with more favorable terms. Like I understand you doing the heavy lifting, but I mean, you just gotta. It's capitalism, baby. Like they own it.
You're right.
So like, what are you gonna do?
I think it's weird that I don't ever remember a point where Spider-Man wasn't like a hot commodity for like a entertainment company to own the rights for.
It's always been hot.
So I don't understand why a company would like ever lose the rights to one of their like heavy hitters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's weird. But yeah, so this is episode 1 of the Krewe Talk. Your host Tim Dawson.
Jeremy.
My co-host Jeremiah Peoples. But yeah, thanks for listening.
It's a pleasure.
Like, subscribe, and we'll be back with some more.
No doubt.